You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning. It's June the 5th, 2023, and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News, your Cannabis and Psychedelics news source here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. Good morning, Rev Kelly. How are we doing today?
So good. It's a little bit dark and foggy outside of the window. I'd prefer the sunshine, but I'm happy to be here. It's a happy Monday.
It's a little gloomy out there right now, but hopefully some sun will appear before the day is over.
We had a nice weekend in our area. We had some
Yes.
nice. I know it rained a little bit. We needed the rain, but then it was so sunny.
Rain. I got like rock size hail.
Did you get that on Friday? Yeah, some areas got that.
Was that
really
Friday?
hard. I think it was Friday. Yeah.
I just know it seemed like it was over the weekend. Yeah, we got some rain, some high winds, and hail.
Yeah. How are your plants?
Okay. Nothing broke. Nothing got broken.
Okay.
Weighted down from all the water. And they got swatted around in the wind and stuff like that. But they'll be okay.
Thank goodness cannabis is such a hardy plant. They could just take it, right?
Exactly. All right. Before we get started, I went to the Lift Expo on the weekend.
How was that?
And shout out to Mana.
Yeah.
Maple syrup. Gave me some samples to try. Give me some samples to try out. So I said I mentioned their name.
Sweet and tasty.
And Doodle Bong.
I think that's such a great idea.
You get to color them.
Yeah.
Color your bong. They give you markers and everything.
I think that's great. You smoke your bong, you use your bong, and then you color it.
Correct.
You're high. I love it.
Yes. And we also were able to have an interview with the Lift's I'm going to call her the CEO or the organizer of the event. Lindsay Richards, I believe is what her last name was.
Okay.
And we had about 5 or 10 minute conversation about things, and then we walked around, talked to different people, interviewed some worms and stuff.
Worms.
Yeah, worms.
That's so great.
And found out that there's no more vapor lounges going on at the Lift Expo. So.
No, all gone.
Yeah. No, Al asked that question. Al Rapp asked her that question. What happened to the vapor lounges?
Yeah, where'd they go? No.
Gone. Outside.
Smoke-free Ontario.
She said the same thing as I did. Is outside where the Blue Jay fans have to walk by.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on to the news we go. First story up. Headline says Health Canada rejects Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club request for exemption. This is not good.
No, they've rejected their request. It's from federal cannabis regulations, and it prohibits the club from operating legally.
Yeah. The club had asked Health Canada to exempt it from the Cannabis Act, which sets a 10 milligram THC limit per edible and prohibits storefront sales of medical cannabis. In a letter to the club this week, Health Canada said it had not demonstrated that the proposed exemptions are necessary for a medical purpose or in the public interest.
Wow. So club founder Ted Smith, a good friend of the show, said he wasn't surprised by the decision. It is something that we expected, although we had hoped for better from our government. He's such a fighter, Al. He's not going to give up on us.
No, he's not done yet. The club submitted an application hundreds of pages long to Health Canada in 2021, along with multiple letters of support from the city. of Victoria and letters from drug policy experts and over 300 patient
Wow.
testimonials.
Testimonials, not just signatures, testimonials,
Correct.
actual
Yeah, but they didn't
testimonials.
prove any medical need. Like,
300.
yeah,
It's argued an exemption is necessary to meet the medical needs of the club's members, saying the federal licensing regulations have created a system that is only accessible to medical patients with doctors willing to write cannabis prescriptions who can wait for items to be mailed to them and then can treat their conditions with a limited selection of products.
yeah. Operating since 1996, the Compassion Club sells a range of products, including many homemade bake sales, salves, capsules, and gummies, to more than 8,000 clients, whom Smith has described as mostly older people who are using cannabis to deal with health concerns such as cancer, diabetes, arthritis, chronic pain, and mental health problems.
Now, Health Canada said in its letter the club provided insufficient evidence to demonstrate that the THC in edibles is insufficient, writing that multiple units of the same cannabis product can be consumed to achieve a desired effect. I'm sorry. What? 30? What if you need 300 milligrams? Are you going to have 30 cookies?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And that's only
30 cookies.
300 milligrams. What if you need 1,000? What if you need more than that? What if you need something the equivalent of RSO for that?
Well, that's what Ted says in the next paragraph. Some club members consume more than 1,000 milligrams of THC daily, making it a challenge to consume the desired amount, which each edible is limited to 10 milligrams. So you're going to go out and buy 100 cookies?
Yeah, and get sick, get diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Health Canada
yeah.
needs to make some substantive changes to their program to help people understand how to use cannabis as medicine and not treat it like a dangerous drug, he says.
Yeah. The club was raided by the provincial authorities in March and cleared of virtually its entire stock worth of between $80,000 and $100,000. Smith says they're now struggling to keep product stocked as cash flow is limited.
Of course. Saying people are very happy that we're still here. The club has also filed a lawsuit and an injunction against the provincial government and Health Canada to seek relief from the punitive measures taken by the BC Community Safety Unit. A date for the hearing has not yet been set. $100,000 in product they took from them, Al.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now here's in an article that Ted wrote in the Cannabis Digest. He says that part of it in there says that in March of 2010, 2023, your response, you indicated that the VCBC could not operate as a provincial authorized retailer because the organization would be prohibited from providing medical information, advice, or guidance to members in relation to using cannabis products for medical purposes. We wish to remind you that the prohibition on making medical claims in relation to cannabis products is not limited to provincial or territorial authorizations, and under subsection 104 of the Cannabis Act, it is prohibited to promote cannabis, a cannabis accessory, or service related to cannabis if there is reasonable grounds to believe that a promotion could create the impression that health or cosmetic benefits may be derived from the use of the product.
Wow.
I go into stores and it's got a friggin' wellness section.
Yeah, they do.
And this is what Health Canada is telling them. This is the provision of the regulations applied.
And those are legal products.
Yeah.
They do. You can go in. I've gone in and they've had like, this will help you with aid for sleep. And there's like a big display and it's like, here's the sleepy ones. What?
Yeah.
I bought pre-rolls and it said for daytime on the end of it. It's for daytime and the other one said for nighttime. So they're getting away with it and it's allowed to do it, right? What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And there I was at the Lift Expo and we covered part of it. It was a seminar talking about what do you say? They're talking to bud tenders. What do you say to people when they come in and ask you a medical question?
Yeah. Ooh,
and they're talking about cancer and sleep issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, what can you do?
People were just saying, well, we have to tell them that, sorry, that we can't answer medical questions. But
go ask your doctor. And then the doctor says, here's your white pills.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mess. All right. On to the next article. This one comes to us from the Marijuana Moment. Headline says Kentucky looks to fund psychedelics research with no less than $42 million in opiate settlement funds, taking the bad and making good of it. Good stuff.
Incredible. It's a
Mm.
Kentucky Administrative Commission, and they announced on Wednesday that it's prepared to potentially distribute at least $42 million in funding, and that's for research into the potential of psychedelic ibogaine for the treatment of opiate addiction. So specifically ibogaine. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. At an event that featured Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who is also the Republican nominee in this November's gubernatorial election, national, officials with the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission said the body will be spearheading the psychedelics research effort, using funds received from the legal settlement with major opioid manufacturers.
We need
Good.
to explore a new approach. Cameron, who was one of 18 state attorneys general who called on President Joe Biden to declare fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction last year, said, "We have to imagine new possibilities. We have to invest in programs, in potential solutions for tomorrow." Wow.
Brian Hubbard, executive director of the commission, said that the body will explore the possibility of devoting no less than $42 million over the next 6 years to the creation of a public-private partnership, which will incubate, support, and drive the development of ibogaine all the way through the FDA approval process.
Kentucky, of all places.
Yeah.
Well, right? We'll also seek to develop the platinum standard model for ibogaine recovery protocol by hosting multi-site clinical trials right here at home, he says. That's incredible.
Yeah, several military veterans and family members participated in the commission event alongside the state officials, sharing information and anecdotes about ibogaine, which has been credited for helping people overcome substance misuse disorders when traditional therapies have failed.
So look, they're going to like the most ethical people they could find, literally military veterans that are having
Yeah,
addiction issues with opiates, and now they're using them for these studies with ibogaine. This is brilliant. I hope that the commission will seek and find the next big breakthrough, that its members will initiate the investigation and dialogue research to make Kentucky a leader, of course, in the 21st century opiate treatment, the Attorney General said, not just treating, but also healing.
yeah, very important healing. The nonprofit Veteran Mental Health Leadership Coalition, which has also advocated for congressional psychedelics reform legislation, helped organize Wednesday briefing and brought together a coalition of people to speak to the potential of ibogaine.
In collaboration with law enforcement, veteran organizations, and our elected officials in Missouri, we will ensure that Kentucky is not alone as access to these revolutionary therapies is advanced. That comes from Apin Thampi, a lobbyist working on psychedelic therapies, and they said that to last week.
It must be them right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, Cameron didn't explicitly endorse psychedelics research effort. His participation in Wednesday's event is notable, especially in the context of his race to replace the incumbent governor, Andy Beshear. He's prioritized addressing the state's challenges with opioid addiction and applauded the work of the body members, which he appointed at the direction of the legislator.
A couple of weeks before, Beshear signed a medical cannabis legalization bill into law in March. Cameron said that he would have been willing to approve reform legislation if lawmakers can get around a framework that is responsible. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, at least we know it's a long article.
Yeah. That's
But
great.
at least we
Progress in
see that,
Kentucky.
yeah, Kentucky of all places.
I love it.
Yeah,
They must have a crisis there. There must be
they,
some kind of
they must
crisis
have.
there. It must have something to do with military, or they wouldn't be pulling them in specifically. So, very nice to see progress, and perhaps
Yeah,
we'll see other
yeah,
states taking the lead from them.
yeah, exactly. All right, on to the next article. This one comes to us from the Associated Press. Slow start to New York's legal pot market leaves the farmers holding the bag. Uh-oh.
Okay. We'll take it. Seth Jacobs has about 100 bins packed with cannabis flower sitting in a storage at his upstate New York farm. And that's a problem. There isn't enough place to sell it.
The 700 pounds of pungent flower was harvested last year as part of New York's first crop of legally grown cannabis for recreational use. He also has roughly 220 pounds of distillate. Months later, there are only a dozen licensed dispensaries statewide to sell what Jacobs and more than 200 other farmers produce. They've only got a dozen stores.
Oh, in New York. But this happened to us here. Remember when they did the lottery?
Yeah,
And then there was way too much weed. Okay, now another growing season is underway, and farmers are still sitting on much of last year's harvest, and they are in a financial bind.
I imagine because they were hoping to sell that stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, we're really under the gun here. We're all losing money, Jacobs recently said at his farm on rolling land near the Vermont border. Even the most entrepreneurial and ambitious among us just can't move much product in this environment.
New York cannabis farmers aren't the only ones struggling with difficult economic conditions. Cannabis growers in Western states have also complained that low prices, tough competition from the black market, high state taxes, and federal banking and exporting restrictions have made it tough for legal growers to make money.
But the farmers' plight in New York is directly tied to the bumpy launch of the state's recreational cannabis market. State leaders have always planned to gear up the market in stages, giving a chance for the diverse set of participants to get a toehold. The state's process for licensing new dispensaries, however, has moved at a slower pace than expected.
Last fall, Governor Kathy Hochul foresaw 20 new shops opening every month or so to start this year. Instead, one store was opened by the start of the year, with 11 more open since. That's it.
Yeah, not enough. Unlicensed shops rushed in to fill the void, especially in New York City, but those outlets aren't a legal market for the state farmers. Federal law prohibits the New York farmers from transporting their crop across the state lines.
This means limited shelf space to sell 300,000 pounds of cannabis grown in the state last year. Much of the product meant to be processed for items like gummies and vapes.
Yeah, statewide, there is estimated to be hundreds of millions of dollars worth of unsold cannabis, about 80% in the form of cannabis oil, according to the Cannabis Association of New York. There are concerns of the smokable flower will eventually become too old to sell.
Of course it will. Jacobs keeps his bins of buds at Slack Hollow Organics in a secure temperature-controlled unit. More valuable still is the distillate at various processors he's waiting to sell elsewhere in rural New York. Brittany Carbone, co-founder of Tricola Farms, said the stock they're sitting on includes 1,500 packs of pre-rolled joints and about 2,000 packs of edibles. That's just going to go stale. I don't want a pre-rolled joint that's a year old. No.
No. Carbon says that what we really need is to see more retailers get open, and that's going to actually give us the sustainable solution. And hopefully, who knows, maybe they'll be complaining that way around in a few months that there's too many stores
and not enough product. Yeah.
The lack of sales is a particular problem for small farmers who stretched themselves thin financially to produce last year's crop and now need capital for the second year.
Wow. They've got farmers markets happening. Maybe that will help them.
Maybe, yeah.
They said they were going to get them up in a month. So maybe they'll
Good
help
luck.
them. Good luck. Do you want to keep continuing?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah. Jacobs, whose brand Bud and Bro, said he won't grow plants for distillate this year because of the backlog. Carbone said they are planting on less than an acre and they're legally allowed and are holding off on infrastructure investments like hoop houses to help with growing.
In New York, many critics blame missteps by state officials in their well-intentioned effort to open the market to a diverse array of entrepreneurs. That meant reserving the first legal cannabis harvest for struggling hemp farmers, and the people with past cannabis convictions were given the chance to open some of the first dispensaries. All right, we'll wrap her up there.
A little bit more on the article, but very interesting. I hope they get it figured out and they don't end up burning it.
I keep getting notices. I keep getting notices on that page, about that page. So I just thought we better
Yep. Yep.
better move on from that one. So, but yeah, hopefully they can get things straightened around in the end. So
Right.
run a little bit smoother and get more stores. How do you survive, or how do you say you got legal cannabis and you've only got a handful of stores in a
Isn't
massive
like New
state?
York, the state, have the exact same or very close to the population of our entire country? Like just in that state,
I wouldn't
um,
doubt it.
millions of people
Yeah.
just in New York. So they need more than 12 stores, guys.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right, next up. Despite munchies, frequent cannabis users are leaner and less likely to get diabetes, according to a study. And this comes to us from CTV News.
Huh. They're less likely
Yeah.
than people that don't use cannabis. And that's according to a new study that attempts to tackle this cannabis paradox. Cannabis use in teenage years may alter how the body's fat cells work and not necessarily for the better. Uh-oh.
Study author Danielle Piomel is a professor at the University of California, Irving's Anatomy and Neurobiology Department, and the director of the University Center for the Study of Cannabis. And she says, all too often we think of cannabis only as a psychoactive drug, she said in a news release, but its effects extend well beyond the brain.
In the study, researchers gave adolescent mice low daily doses of THC. When a treatment was stopped in adulthood, they continued to evaluate the mice's metabolism and discovered that the mice had been exposed to THC as adolescents, had reduced fat mass and increased lean mass than the control group. They're also more resistant to obesity and high blood sugar, had higher than average body temperatures, and were less able to use fuel from fat stores.
Mm. The study noted that several of these features are common to people who frequently use cannabis. To understand why this is happening, the researchers analyzed the molecular changes caused by THC. Although the fat cells of the mice on the THC look normal under a microscope, they also unexpectedly produce large amounts of muscle protein, which is usually not found in fat, while their muscles had fewer of these proteins.
It's very interesting. So, this unusual process, the researchers concluded, was interfering with the normal functioning of fat cells and their ability to store and release energy, meaning that they were less capable of utilizing stored nutrients for muscle activity. In addition to physical effects, this could also impact mental processes like intention, which would require a steady flow of energy to the brain.
The study chose to focus on adolescence because it a time of rapid physical development and also when many regular users first try cannabis. The study defined the munchies as the stimulation of hedonic high calorie eating and one of cannabis' most iconic effects.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. There's a quote here saying that THC mimics a group of chemical messengers called endocannabinoids, which regulate important functions through the body. Our results show that interfering with endocannabinoid signaling during adolescence disrupts and depots organ function in a permanent way with potential far reaching consequences on
Mm.
physical and mental health. Interesting, but no diabetes.
No diabetes,
No diabetes.
and we're leaner.
And we're leaner. And it
Yeah,
helps
yeah,
with our muscle, our lean muscle. So overall, I think it's
correct.
good. I think it's good.
Yeah. All right, on to our last story before we go to break.
Okay.
And this one comes to us from StratCan, and the headline on it says, "Cannabis sales continue to grow even as canopy space and number of employees begin to decline."
So sorry, Al. I don't have that story.
Don't you? Oh,
Mm-mm.
wonder what happened to that.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll just quickly go through it here. All right. They say that Canada's cannabis industry sees a continued increase in sales, even as the amount of production space and the number of employees at production facilities appears to be leveling off. They say the newest market data figures for October 22nd, 2022 to December 2022 reported periods show a continued increase in cannabis inventory and sales across Canada. The total amount of approved production space and employees at these federal facilities declined for the first time in 2022. They say the sales of dried cannabis have been holding relatively steady in 2022, while sales of edibles and extracts rose through the year, and this occurred while the total amount of approved indoor and outdoor space declined over the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that graph.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see it on the screen there. Yes. Yeah, you can see the screen there. Cannabis topicals also saw increased sales in 2022, with more than 81,000 packaged units sold, the majority in the non-medical stream. Tell me, what do people use topicals for?
For medical. It's a medical thing.
You put it on your skin because your skin's gone dry, or you're dealing with
pain.
So what do they mean by non-medical use? How do you use topicals recreationally? I just don't understand.
That. That's right.
Sales of cannabis plants were sporadic throughout 2022, with the most significant spike in sales occurring in June, with nearly 3,000 plant packages or packaged sales. The vast majority of those sales were through the medical stream. Only 71 cannabis plants were sold through the non-medical stream in 2022. Who are they selling these cannabis plants to?
Yeah. Where are they getting them from?
Where are they getting them from? Because I'm taking this as recreational sales.
Yeah.
These aren't LP, like LP to LP, business to business. Where are you getting plants?
I don't know. Is that in our province? It can't be in our province, is it?
Well, they're selling them.
Weird. I didn't know that.
Most of them look like on the medical end.
Sure.
Cannabis seed sales saw a spike from January to June, almost exclusively sold through the non-medical sales channels, with only 80 packaged units of seeds were sold through the medical channels in 2022.
Wow. Only 80.
Yeah, the amount of seeds that producers and provinces have in inventory have declined since 2021.
Wow.
I'm going to have to go look, because I only go in these looking for certain things. So I'm going to have to go in there and look for this, what they got on seeds, not to particularly buy any, but just to be able to see what's available. They say the total amount of approved processing space has declined. The total building area for licensed producers, however, has increased. The total of approved outdoor growing space has declined, and the number of employees of federal licensed production sites has decreased. That means people getting laid off and having to look for a job.
Yep, too many. Plants being shut down, being sold for other purposes, not even cannabis anymore. Happened right in Bowmanville. Happened in so many different places, all even around us. So
yes, exactly. Well, time to go to break. Commercial time. Time to hear from those who help us inform our viewers. You're watching Psychedelics and Cannabis Educational News here, found at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGTV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Are you watching television on Roku, Fire, maybe an Apple TV or even Chromecast? If you are, then download the Boxcast app and search for CBGTV.
Babe, it's spring. Just saw a robin.
Awesome. Let's get our butts to Limestone City Hydroponics. They carry Happy Frog and Ocean Forest soils and lots of promos.
Limestone City Hydroponics carry everything you need to get veggies veggin', from organic fertilizer to cloth grow pots to, well, everything. Visit them today. Don't delay. In-store, free delivery, or curbside. We're here to help. 613-548-0420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyendinaga.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hey, we're back from our medication session and ready to bring you more cannabis news. We have 4 more stories to bring, and we'll get to them as we go along, obviously. All right. First up, we've got something from Psychedelic Spotlight, and the headline on that says, trips, do's, and don'ts, what to avoid during your psychedelic experience. And Rev Kelly, you get started on this, and I'll be right back. I got to deal with the dog.
While going on a psychedelic trip can be fun and enlightening, there are certain things that could drastically change the tone of it. Practicing good harm reduction skills can prevent your trip from going south and will maximize your enjoyment. Psychedelic trips can be fun, but it is important to know about certain things that could change their tone. Even if you are experienced with psychedelics, it isn't uncommon for a trip to turn south after a seemingly inconsequential action. It is best to do your due diligence and be as prepared as you can be in order to maximize your trip's enjoyment. Whether you're tripping on acid, mushrooms, DMT, mescaline, or any other psychedelic, we have compiled a list of things that are either best to avoid or should be approached with caution while tripping. You back, Al?
I am back. Exactly.
Okay. There's a list here, and we're going to start with 1. Don't neglect proper research.
Yes, I always say that in the cannabis end too, for people who are just getting involved. Embarking on a psychedelic journey without significant knowledge is unwise. What to avoid while tripping? Well, they say psychedelic ignorance. Educate yourself about the substance that you plan to use, its effects, duration, potential risk, and recommended dosage, understanding what to expect, and being prepared to help you navigate the experience more confidently. Going on a psychedelic trip without proper preparation can lead to a bad experience. Be aware of what to expect during your trip to maximize your benefits.
That's saying don't rush it. Oh, I like that. Look, that would be a good place to have a trip with all of that paintings and beautiful colors. Psychedelics demand careful consideration and the right set and setting. It's saying that you want to avoid tripping, making it an impulsive decision, and make sure that you're stable and in an emotional state before trying it.
Yeah, I agree there. Don't resist or control the experience. They say that psychedelic experiences can be intense and profound, and attempting to resist or control them can lead to increased anxiety and discomfort. Embrace the journey with an open mind and surrender to the unfolding experience. Trust the process and allow yourself to explore the insights and emotions that arise. The more you try to control a trip, the higher chance it has of becoming challenging or a bad trip. An important part of going on a psychedelic trip is learning how to relish control. There are certain things you cannot control, so just let the trip happen.
Yeah, I like that. The next one is avoid uncontrolled environments. Yes, like a big giant concert like that. Do not take a giant 5-gram macro dose of mushrooms and then do that without some consequences for sure. It's vital to choose your environment wisely. Another thing to avoid while tripping or are uncontrolled or unfamiliar settings. That's good too. Unexpected settings or challenges, chaotic, crowded spaces can amplify the feelings of anxiety and confusion. Might give you an overwhelming trip. You want to have a safe and calm and comfortable space and have it controlled for your surroundings. I like that tip, Al. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Beginners, do not trip alone. Take a partner with you. Why not? For those new to psychedelics in general, it is strongly recommended to have a trusted friend or experienced trip sitter present. A trip sitter can provide reassurance, support, and guidance throughout the journey, helping to navigate potential challenges and ensure physical and emotional safety. Their presence can be invaluable in providing comfort and grounding during intense or disoriented moments.
Yeah, for sure. Avoid mixing with other subjects. That's great. That's a great reminder too. Combining them, including alcohol, cannabis, other drugs, it should be avoided. Substances like alcohol will low risk of being unsafe with mixed with certain psychedelics. They can damper the trip and they will change the effect of psychedelics. And then there could be dangerous interactions with different things. So if you even it says if you like pain relievers like tramadol have potential dangerous side effects like with giving heart problems. So
I see here, I'm going to back up a bit there. You can see how there's a chart there.
Yeah.
And it talks about, you can see there where there's greens, do not mix. You got little hearts, you got little caution signs.
Wow. That's a great chart.
Yeah. Don't drive or operate machinery. Yeah, don't do 5 hits of acid and then go for a drive.
No.
No. Under no circumstance should anyone under the influence of any psychedelic attempt to drive a vehicle or operate heavy machinery. The altered state of consciousness induced by psychedelics can impair cognitive functioning, coordination, and reaction times, jeopardizing both your safety and that of others. It is imperative to prioritize reasonable decision-making and plan transportation accordingly.
Oh, I love that. Look at the picture of the guy and he's seeing a snowman in cartoons and colors. That's what happens. Don't do it.
Oh, I see there.
It's true. Look at that. Now, avoid confrontational or stressful situations when you do your psychedelics. Wow, good point. Emotions and perceptions can be highly intensified. What to avoid while tripping, confrontational or emotionally charged situations that potentially trigger distressing or negative experiences. Arguments, conflicts, or any form of stress should be minimized to create supportive and a harmonious environment. It should be conducive to a positive and transformative journey. That's such a good reminder.
Yeah. Don't underestimate the duration. Some psychedelic trips can be a whole day commitment, while DMT trips are the shortest in duration, clocking in at an average of 10 minutes. There are also drugs like acid and San Pedro cactus that can make a trip go well past the 12-hour mark, sometimes even 24 hours in the case of the latter.
Peyote. Avoid overstimulation. Psychedelics enhance sensory perception, making individuals more sensitive to external stimuli. It is advisable to avoid overwhelming environments with bright lights, loud noises, or crowded spaces. Excessive stimulation can lead to sensory overload and increase feelings of anxiety or unease. Opt for soothing, calming environments that promote relaxation and tranquility.
Sounds like that maybe go spend some time in nature.
Yeah, good plan.
Where the frogs are croaking. And number 11, don't forget to stay hydrated and nourished. While tripping, it is easy to lose track of time and neglect self-care needs. Remember to drink water and eat light, nutritious snacks throughout the trip. Yeah, not McDonald's. Especially if you took a psychedelic on an empty stomach. Maintaining proper hydration and nourishment will help you sustain your energy levels and support your overall well-being.
This final one is so funny. It is so true. This has happened to me before. Be wary of mirrors. Oh, yes. Your face will become distorted and you will not understand. This is a particularly dangerous thing. For real, it is. Staring in a mirror can be really, really weird on psychedelics. The way a person is affected by a mirror can depend on the personality. They have any self-esteem or body image problems. Just be aware of that. A common visual effect of psychedelics, especially on acid and mushrooms, is for facial features to morph and look wonky. So looking at yourself in the mirror while tripping can be an eerie thing. Thus, this could be something to avoid while tripping.
Yeah. Now down at the bottom it says, on the other hand, some people enjoy looking in a mirror while tripping and see it as just another weird, fun thing to do. But I can see their point on the other end as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't handle it, don't do it. But if you like that fun
Correct.
house sort of thing, then it'll be fun for you.
And the final thoughts is, when embarking on a psychedelic trip, responsible and informed decision making is paramount. By adhering to these guidelines on what to avoid while tripping, you can maximize your safety, comfort, and potential for positive and transformative experiences. Remember to choose a controlled environment, have a trusted companion, and avoid mixed substances. There you go.
Good one.
All right. Whoops. Okay, on to the next one. And this one's going to ABC. And it is food, drink, pot under one roof. California state bill could allow for cannabis cafes. Yay!
Yeah, let's go. The state's assembly passed a bill Wednesday that would allow California's localities the right to approve the sale of food and non-alcoholic drinks inside legal cannabis dispensaries. Current state law prohibits any food or beverage from being served in recreational cannabis dispensaries.
I wonder why they would outlaw the sale of food and beverage at a dispensary.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't they be selling cannabis-infused food and beverages?
Nope, can't sell
No.
anything. And you can't
Oh,
sell
yeah.
anything at all. Like if you go to even one here, you can't buy popcorn or bag of chips or anything like that.
No, yeah. State Alderman, Assemblyman Matt Heaney, who introduced the bill, told ABC News that those current regulations are outdated and nonsensical. And as a result, a lot of the legal cannabis shops are losing out on revenue. See, they have the lounges within the stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So smart. It's a huge demand for it. The idea came up from shop owners. They wanted to diversify their businesses. The bill, which now heads to the state Senate for approval, would also allow dispensaries to have live music inside their establishments. So essentially, you could open up a cafe and just have it.
Lounge.
Oh, I
Yep.
wish. Oh, I wish.
Haney said that even though legalized cannabis stores have been popular ever since the first legal sales began in 2018, however, those business owners are still competing with the illegal market. Those illegal sellers have been able to get past the regulations and offer food, he said.
The advantage the illegal market has is it can sell that experience, similar to what you can do in a neighborhood bar. The assemblyman cited a West Hollywood cannabis shop that originally sold its own food, but was forced to stop that by local regulators for violating the current rules.
They're required to have the food made, sold, and delivered from another establishment. I've seen that in the lounges in Toronto where people would order in a pizza.
Yeah, that's the law.
Yeah.
But under California law, food or drink not allowed to be inside the cannabis shops. It would have to be consumed indoors in a well-ventilated room. What?
I guess to take the smell of food away.
Oh, okay.
Current California cafes and restaurants won't be able to offer cannabis in their establishments, according to the bill.
This is weird. Haney emphasized that customers under 21 will still be barred from entering the dispensaries, even if food and drink are allowed. Okay.
Haney said the concerns about whole streets being lined with these cannabis cafes are not strong, as California's law doesn't permit multiple cannabis shops to be located close to each other. It will look nothing like Amsterdam, so you won't have an entire block of them, and they won't be near schools.
Oh, well, save the children. Haney said municipalities could decline to allow for food and drink rules in their dispensaries. However, some cities, including San Francisco's, have already passed ordinances to permit them if the bill becomes a law. San Francisco's ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
come on,
I know.
open these places up.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
We want your tourists. Come.
Yes, exactly. Because if they don't, they're going to go to Antigua or Barbuda.
That's where they're going.
That's where they're going. Because look, that's what they're doing there.
Yep.
Because they're going to legalize cannabis for Rastafarian and sacramental use.
Yes. I love that. It's the first of the Caribbean nation to grant Rastafari official sacramental authorization to grow the herb. It's the first one.
Yeah, for decades, Rastafarians have been prosecuted and jailed for using cannabis in their rituals. That's changed now in the Caribbean island of Antigua and Barbuda, as they have granted Rastafarians the right to grow the plant for sacramental purposes.
Ras Coyote Erasto, a priest with the Ross Freeman Foundation for the Unification of Rastafari, was bullied and discriminated against because of his faith growing up in Antigua.
The children, Rastafari children, we couldn't go to the school at one time, he says, recalling his mother having to cut his dreads off to be allowed back in.
The laws against growing cannabis for ritual purposes have been removed by the governments of Antigua and Barbuda to try and bring more respect to the Rastafari people.
Antigua and Barbuda is a sovereign country made up of the two islands. It's gained its independence from the UK in 1981, though it remains a Commonwealth realm with Charles III as its head of state.
We pride ourselves as an all-inclusive government, and we believe that we have to provide a space for everyone at the table, irrespective of their religion, whatever denomination, whatever faith they may practice. That comes from Prime Minister Gaston Brown.
Yeah, they say that change comes after first decriminalizing cannabis in 2018, then later making it legal for medical use. Yeah, we now according to Rash, did you find it? Rash Tasha says we are more free now. And Rash Tasha is another priest with the Ras Freeman Foundation of the Unification of Rastafari in Antigua. We can come and plant any amount of marijuana on this groundation, and no police can come and take up any plant. We fight for their rights, and we get that right.
In Rastafarianism, the use of cannabis brings people closer to the divine. It is seen as a key medicinal and spiritual food source, saying we have come a long way from, discrimination and the castigation, the violence against Rastafari, to one in which they are fully embraced, comes from the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Earlier this year, Brown met with Rastafari groups and granted them legal licenses from the country's medical cannabis authority to grow the plant for religious purposes.
The small nation of about 100,000 people has gone further than regional efforts by larger countries and hopes to set a global example.
Yeah, little Antigua, according to the works, we are organizing, centralizing in the small islands in the Caribbean, and other ones are seeing this strategy and getting to know the right way and are using it so that they can have the same benefits, says Ras Tashi, after Sunday's service.
As public opinion and policy around cannabis continues to shift across the world, Rastafari in Antigua and Barbuda continues to push for broader relaxation and full legalization of the plant.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Cool. That's cool.
There we go. They must be a small island because they're talking about the Caribbean. I'm thinking like in Jamaica, they changed things for the Rastafari.
I don't think they made it legal as their sacrament, though. I think they did. They decriminalized cannabis, but I don't think they made it legal for their sacrament the way that this Antigua place has. Wow. Maybe they will now.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. We'll find it. All right. Last story of the day comes to us from someplace. USA Today. What is THC-O? Similar to Delta 8? is making waves in the cannabis market.
A growing number of cannabis adjacent products are hitting consumer markets in the United States, among them a synthetic cannabinoid known as THC-O.
The passage of the 28 Farm Bill legalized hemp and spawned a cottage industry of weed lookalikes that are similarly intoxicating and legal.
Saying these hemp-derived intoxicants came into the marketplace through the back door, and now states are trying to figure out how to respond. That comes from Chris Lindsay, director of the State Campaigns and Public Policy at the American Trade Association of Cannabis and Hemp.
But does THC-O fall into that bucket? It's complicated. Here's what you should know about the newly popular cannabinoid.
THC-O most commonly refers to THC-O acetate, a synthetically sourced cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are a set of related chemical compounds sourced from cannabis.
Now, THC-O has created buzz in recent years as a relatively new cannabinoid on the market, joining ranks with Delta 8 and Delta 10. Like other cannabis products, it is available from various hemp sellers in the form of a vape cartridge or edibles like gummies.
It's interesting. It's derived from hemp. It can't be found naturally, meaning it cannot be, it's a chemical compound that is entirely synthetic, and it means it cannot be found naturally in the plant. So it's just chemicals. It's fake cannabis.
Synthetic. It's not real. Yeah.
It's fake.
Calling THC acetate a cannabis product is a bit of a misnomer, though, said Danielle Payomi, a professor of autonomy and neurology. We spoke about her earlier in the show.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, she says they say that's because producers create THC-O by taking CBD and converting it to Delta 8 or Delta 9, then combining it with another chemical to get its final result.
What is that other chemical? What is that? What do you mean by another chemical? What are you putting in that? This is bad. That's very bad. The chemical compound is technically derived from the hemp plant, so some sellers have assumed THC-O to be legal under the Farm Bill. However, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration warned that both Delta 8 and THC-O and Delta 9 and THC-O are illegal controlled substances because they do not occur naturally and thus do not fall into the legal definition of hemp. Ha!
There you go. They don't happen naturally.
No.
What's the difference between THC-O and regular THC? Well, regular THC can be found naturally in the cannabis plant, while THC-O is synthetically produced. Ingenuity never stops, so they come up with this idea of adding an acetate to the chemical functionalities of the THC molecule.
This is really gross. The chemical reaction makes it so the cannabinoid is not able to bind to the receptors in the brain usually responsible for the high feeling, he said. However, the chemical modification allows the compound to more easily go into cells and the brain. Once it's in the brain, the acetate should wear off and the remaining THC can attach to the correct receptors. Ew. Just sounds so gross.
Is THC more potent or stronger than Delta 9 THC? Well, Delta 9 THC is a psychoactive compound, which gives everybody the high. When people refer to cannabis, they're talking about that. There is very limited peer-reviewed research on the potency of THC-O as it compares to naturally occurring compounds, but users report anecdotally that it gives a more extreme high than regular Delta 9 THC.
Yeah, and they have all those chemicals in there that are giving you the high too. Who knows what is giving you that? Barf. The High Times, a publication about hemp and cannabis news, refers to the compound as the psychedelic cannabinoid and purports it is 3 times as intoxicating as Delta 9. That number, though reported in a number of articles online, is not linked to official data. It appears to come from the 1997 book of Marijuana Chemist Genetics Processing Potency. That's so weird.
Yeah, well, just think that's actually 1977.
No,
read
that's
it
a 45-year-old
again. It
book.
says 19. Yeah.
Yeah. What? That's where you're getting your information?
There was
Okay.
very little reviewed research done on THC acetate, and partly this is due to the fact that it is a new invention of crafty entrepreneurs who like to circumvent the Controlled Substances Act.
Okay. No, we're done. Bye-bye. Like, no. Please don't do this. Please don't make synthetic cannabinoids. Just grow the plant.
Just grow the plant.
There's lots of seeds. Do you need some? I'll send you some. Why are you making fake cannabis? Make
Well,
me
it's
sick.
because they created it out of hemp, right? Which is legal under the
It's
Farm
just
Bill.
they think that this farm bill is going to say that this THC-O. Well, clearly it's not. It doesn't. It's not the same thing. If it's fake chemical cannabis, it's not the. That's not the farm bill. It has to be
No,
grown from a
that's-
plant.
Yeah, exactly. I just going, what?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
shaking my
like,
head here.
Yeah. Well, anything coming up this week?
Not this week. Not this week. It's June. It's Pride Month. Time to celebrate our beautiful queer community with rainbows. We've got some stuff coming up later on the month for that.
Yeah, I've noticed that some of your programming on KGL has sort of altered for the
We
month.
found our rainbows. Yep.
Yeah, instead of her story, it became their story.
Right. Yep.
Right.
For that month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're celebrating on Spiritual Sunday as well all month. So
Good.
some good people coming.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Let's see. Other than that, I think we're done.
Okay.
From the legacy420.com news desk, that's the news for today. We hope you found it educational and informative. Thanks to our sponsors, legacy420.com, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and Limestone City Hydroponics. Check them out. And to our viewers, thanks for watching. Catch our next Psychedelics and Cannabis educational news broadcast with Rev Cindy, and it should be Glenn. Glenn should be back. He's back here in Canada now. As long as he's got his internet set up and running, he'll be there. If not, I'll be doing it for him. So other than that, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Babe, it's spring. Just saw Robin.
Awesome. Let's get our butts to Limestone City Hydroponics. They carry Happy Frog and Ocean Forest soils and lots of promos.
Limestone City Hydroponics carry everything you need to get veggies veggin', from organic fertilizer to cloth grow pots to, well, everything. Visit them today. Don't delay. In-store, free delivery, or curbside. We're here to help. 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.